All right. Good morning. Back with another video. I have a little bit of time this morning. The narcissistic karmic has vacation this week, so he's been home all week, but he actually left this morning to go do a little bit of fishing and what have you. So I have some time alone, so I thought I'd get a video uploaded. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do on today's video. I do want to touch on some narcissism stuff. And you know, of course, there's always a divine counterpart message or two that, you know, I feel like needs to be relayed, or some divine knowledge I might have received on some topic or what have you. So we're just gonna kind of you know, go into it and see what comes out. But initially, I will try to focus. There is a couple things I wanted to get out the way while they were fresh in my mind on the narcissism in that regard. So you know, whatever. One good thing about speaking the truth, you know, speaking your truth or the truth in general, is that you don't have to necessarily remember A, B, C, and D, because it'll just kind of flow. You know, once you get speaking on the topic of what have you, whatever your truth may be, you know, if it's genuine truth and it's not something you're remembering for a narrative or to make yourself look like a victim or what have you, you know, it will flow quite easily. You don't have to necessarily remember to tell the story in a certain kind of way or whatever. Also, it will be kind of repetitive and redundant. That's the thing about the truth. It remains the same no matter how much time passes, whereas lies, you know, they change over time and all that kind of shit. So you can go back and watch. I've been making these videos for probably over a year now. And if you go back and watch some of my first narcissism videos, you know, some of the same topics do get repeated on or touched on more than one time, but it's because it is what it is. I mean, it's I guess par for the course, and that hasn't changed. So anyway, all right. I did want to say this. I did not, but I want to mention something, because it relates to the consequences of narcissism. It relates to narcissistic collapse. So, you know, that's the only reason I'm mentioning this. I didn't even want to give this person the energy or effort of mentioning A, B, C, and D on the video pertaining to that narcissist story. But I kind of have to, because it's an example of narcissistic collapse, and how what I said has kind of come to pass. I'm shocked that it came to pass in that kind of way and that quickly. But so let's get right in. Okay. In other videos, I have mentioned that the karmic narcissist I'm with, he has one other sibling, a sister. And I mentioned, like, on those videos, how, like, the ex that she had, that was the father of her oldest child, how he died, and how she followed his messages until the day she died, even though she was with the father of the youngest kid at that point, the one she managed to get pregnant for, like 3 months into the relationship, and she hid it for like the first 6 months until she was really showing, and then but okay, I mentioned her before in other videos, and I guess, okay, let me give you a little bit more of that backstory in case you don't know. So okay, yeah, the narcissist I live with, he has a sister, a sibling. She's also a narcissist too. We'll call her the karmic sister, I guess, because if you don't know, or if you're just starting to watch these videos, I try to keep people anonymous. I do not reveal any names. I might reveal some of the storylines. I do try to kind of maybe change I try to keep people anonymous as well as myself. So I will assign titles to those people. Like, if I'm talking about the person I live with, I'll call him the karmic, or the narcissistic karmic, or the narcissist. If I'm talking about his sister, I'll say the karmic sister, or the narcissistic sister-in-law. If I'm talking about the mom, you know, so I try to assign titles. So that's what we'll do, you know, in this. So anyway, so yeah, he has a sister who's a narcissist. She has 2 kids at this point. She had 2 exes. Okay, this relationship that just ended. The last relationship she was in recently ended, like actually like the week of Valentines Day. The guy, I guess, finally, and it's funny because I'd been praying for him for quite some time, and those little narcissistic videos I'd watch, sometimes I would think about sending him those, like, links to those videos. But, with that kind of thing, people aren't going to accept it until they're ready to. I didn't want to cause no trouble. I didn't know, what would come. So I never said nothing. I just kind of prayed for him on this end. And apparently it paid off, because apparently the week of Thanksgiving, him and her separated for good. She's living back down here in this state. She was living in another state. She's back down here in this state with the narcissistic father I've mentioned in several other videos. The father of the narcissist I live with. He's really, really bad off. He has been in a narcissistic collapse for a good couple of years now. And he's still in it. And now she's over there with her kids with him. So that's I really feel sorry for those children. But the guy that she was with, apparently he found, and it's funny because I prayed he would meet a nice woman. See, he worked at a school. He was like a gym coach. He wasn't a teacher, but he was like a gym coach. And so I prayed that he would meet like a nice teacher or something like that at that school that was normal-minded, because I knew the sister was fucked up. Listen, the sister is worse than the one I've got. The sister is worse than her brother, and that's pretty fucking bad. Like, at least, I will say this, at least the karmic I got, he like goes to work and pays the bills. At least he does that. The sister doesn't want to work, she don't want to go to school, but she don't want to do anything in the house either. She doesn't want to like clean the house, she don't want to cook, she don't want to parent. You at least gotta fucking do something. Come on now. She don't want to do shit. She don't think she has to. It's really fucking bad. So, I can about imagine what that guy, I know what that guy went through. I seen it firsthand. When her and that guy hadn't been together long, and she had the baby for him, and that youngest baby was like a few months old, they came down to visit for a couple weeks, and it was awful. She stayed so fucked up, and he just like trotted behind her with that baby and toted her around, and I just couldn't believe it. It was really bad. And I remember saying I felt so sorry for him, and I could only imagine how it was going to be later on down the line. But anyway, so yeah, she's back down here with the dad. So and here in this state, she's done ruined her name. She's not allowed a driver's license. She had 3 DWIs by the time she was 21. 2 of which she obtained before she was 21. So her driving record here is really, really fucked up. Like, in order for her to drive here, she still has to do A, B, C, and D legally, which cost a lot of money. And it's, apparently she came down, she ain't got no vehicle or nothing no more. So, that's going to be interesting. But anyway, so I did just kind of want to touch on that, that. So I'm sure she's having a narcissistic collapse. We have not heard hide nor hair from her. She's been here a good couple of weeks now, and she hasn't reached out to us. Her youngest son and my son are very, very close. And that's really sad, because those boys have such a bond. It's such a beautiful bond. And she's not allowing, all she's doing is keeping those kids from each other. All she's doing by carrying a grudge and not talking to us or whatever, reaching out to us or whatever, is, it's not allowing the kids to see each other, which is really fucked up. But, I don't expect any different from those fucked up people. So, yeah. Anyway. What else did I want to touch on that topic? Oh yeah, of course, she's making it out to be she's the victim, that's, okay, I wanted to touch on that. How, like, when I first met my narcissist, I mentioned in the Divine Counterpart video how, there was this image put out of a good guy that just didn't have anyone to help him reach their full potential. And I said before that narcissists put out this image of someone that they're just such a wonderful, misunderstood person, and they just either have, if they're young, it's they haven't had anyone to help them reach their full potential. If it's later in life, after a long-term, like my situation, a long-term relationship where maybe the target stayed with that person for decades for whatever reason, children involved, didn't have options to leave, kind of like my situation, whatever. And then they finally do leave, and that person's midlife, in their 40s, and it's later in life, so they can't date so easy. Then the narrative and the image and the facade will switch to, I'm just such a wonderful, misunderstood person who's just been so victimized by my ex baby mama or baby daddy or what have you. And like that's what the karmic sister is saying, she's telling everyone, oh, he beat her up and was so abusive, and oh, she's really making herself out to be the victim, but the truth is she was the abusive one. I saw that firsthand. I'd bet money on that, and now that I know these motherfuckers like I know them, yeah, I know that for a fact. I know she was the abusive one. I was there the day the oldest son's father left her. She called me crying, begging me to come over and try to talk him into staying with her. Well, when I got there and asked him what was going on, he told me A, B, C, and D. And we also talked after that point, after they split up. And he told me a lot, and I mean, I saw some things too myself firsthand. I'd go spend the night with her over there and things like that because our children were so close in age. They were 13 months apart. That's the boys I was talking about a second ago. That they pretty much had been around each other since they were born, or since hers was born and mine was a year old. So I'd spend the night over there so that the boys could, spend time together and chat. I wish y'all could have seen, that was so cute, chat. Some of the memories I have of them two kids together. And that makes me so sick that, but whatever. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. I spent the night over there, and so I saw firsthand A, B, C, and D. I saw how that man would work 10, 12, 14 hours a day, come in, she'd be passed out, fucked up on the couch, and not even have nothing taken out for supper. I seen him beg her to just take something out for supper, have it thawed in the sink. He would cook it when he'd come in. She wouldn't even do that. And that was with the ex. So I could about imagine how much worse it was with this last ex, the one that didn't die yet. That was with the first child's father that died, some years back. But anyway, so they just, the narrative turns from, oh, I'm just this wonderful misunderstood person who hasn't had somebody help me reach my full potential, to, later on down the line, once that the long-term relationship they do manage to sometimes hang on to with the spouse or the mother or father of the child, once that falls apart and the narcissistic collapse begins, then it's, woe is me and all that shit. So let's see, where are we time-wise? I don't want to lean over the camera. 12:20 something, 12:27, 12:28. All right. Let's see. Shit, I don't know. I guess that's it. I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting. I'm sure there's something I wanted to mention. I'm sure possibly divine counterpart related, but I don't know. I'm sure it'll come to me when I'm done. It always does. After I do these videos, I go back and I watch them, before I upload them, and I always think, God dog it, I should have said this. I should have said, oh, fuck, I wanted to touch on that. Oh, I wanted to mention this, and I forget, or, I get to carrying on about whatever else, and then, like I said, the truth rolls pretty easy, and it rolls quick, so, it's just bubbling up and out of me, so it's just one of those things. I do, once everything's said and done, and hopefully I can leave this fucking shithole of a situation, like if nothing else, when the kid's 18 or closer to it, whatever. I do plan on, and part of these videos is kind of part of that. It's a way for me later on, if I do decide to document my experiences, like in a book format, or in some kind of way to distribute in a public way or in a public forum or what have you. I'll have a way to kind of do that where it won't be so all over the place. Maybe it'll kind of give me a guideline later on as to, whatever. It's hard. It's going to be hard to document. At this point, it's been 16 years. It's hard to document something that long, in such an order that, but anyway. All right, shit. There I go rambling. So I guess we'll wrap it up. I like to keep these videos kind of short. I don't want them to be too long, because I want them to hold, people's attention, and, hopefully get a couple points across or what have you that, maybe can awaken somebody to something, maybe be an aha moment for somebody, maybe, whatever, that kind of thing. I know how liberating divine knowledge, and divine knowledge comes in all forms. A lot of the divine knowledge I received has come, straight to me. Other times it comes through someone else. Like somebody will say something that will really resonate, and it's like it'll awaken something that for whatever reason it'll make me see something in a different way. So hopefully these videos can do that for somebody out there. If it's just one person, then so be it. That's wonderful. I've done my energetic duty. I've done my karmic duty. So all right, that's it. That's all. Excuse me. I hope this helped somebody. I hope somebody got something out of it. I love you. Until next time, goodbye.